So, nice to have you here today, Lydia.
Nice to be here.
That's
Thanks.
good. So,
Quite unexpected.
it's okay. We've got some time. It's an hour and 16 minutes, but I'm going to try and make it shorter. So, who is Lydia?
Good question. Gosh, don't even know if I can answer that. Who is Lydia?
All right, then tell us. Let's start from the beginning. We got some time. What were you like when you were in school?
Oh gosh. I was very into sport. I was very into drama. Yeah, and I only came to those things quite late. But yeah, so I enjoyed those things. My teachers always said that I lacked confidence, which is probably still true of myself now.
Really?
But, yeah.
If you're doing all those things are outgoing.
I know, but I guess you can hide behind the facade, can't you?
I suppose that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, that comes to mind on that. So, what was it about the creative industry that you loved so much?
I think the thing that I loved about that at school was the fact that all my friends did it. And there was a good group of us that did like the sport, the drama, we were just involved in, so we were all involved in lots of things, which was really good because we just then moved around those different areas together. So that made a massive difference to me, enjoying it. And I had a good PE teacher as well, so that helped.
What sports was it you particularly liked?
Well, it was netball, football, hockey, and then that group of people just really, we were quite successful in those sports. So,
so he's winning medals and trophies.
Yeah.
Well done, Lydia.
Which
well done.
helps the level of motivation. And then that actually spurred me on to go and train to be a PE teacher myself.
Okay. So you went on to be a PE teacher. So do you come from a big family?
I am. It's just me and my sister, and my mum and my immediate family, and then obviously extended family.
Okay, fair enough. Were you born in London or?
I was not born in London. I'm from rural Lincolnshire.
Lincolnshire.
So right on the edge of nowhere. Do you know Lincolnshire?
You got sausages, in it?
We have got sausages.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
And I think there's something mentioned of it in the Vikings movie. Is it up north?
Yes, it is up north on the east.
Yeah.
coast.
So you would have been introduced to the Vikings in the old days. So that's what
Probably.
I know. That's what I know about Lincolnshire. Sausages and Vikings invasion. So,
Most people normally say that it's really flat as well, although the bit from it's quite hilly.
Okay, I've been to. So I used to be in the military, so I've been
Did
to
you?
certain places where I think this area is really flat, and you've got loads of fields.
We have got lots of fields. It's very
And you've got those big horses.
Lots of agriculture.
Those horses that are really hairy horses. They're like Shire horses.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where you grew up.
I
Okay.
did, yes. And then I went to university to study sport.
And where did you do that? In Lincolnshire?
At Durham, so further up north.
Yeah, I've been to Durham before.
Yeah, lovely little university town that was.
And you studied PE, physical education. Right?
So it was more general actually. It was like for sport physiology, sociology, and psychology. So yeah, and then from that, then I did my teacher training in Birmingham.
So how was life in Durham? Was it quite similar to Lincolnshire?
No, it was a bit more, I think because it's a market town, it was a bit more, not because it was a university town, it was a lot more lively than Lincolnshire. Lincolnshire was very quiet and reserved.
Were you brought up on a farm?
I wasn't. No.
You're not a farm girl.
No, not a farm
Okay.
girl.
Just to let you know, audience, when the lady looks down, it's not because she's bored. It's
No.
because she's checking her.
Yes,
her
I've got
train.
train issues. My train's been cancelled. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and on Saturday got a train strike as well.
Yeah, I know.
They got Saturday and what the other day? There's another day. There's is it Monday or?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. Anyway, I'm
Anyway,
sure your audience don't want to hear about cancelled trains. But yes, I'm not being rude. I'm just checking my options.
So you like Durham,
Yeah.
and you were there for 3 years.
Yes.
You
3 years.
got
Yeah.
your degree.
Yeah.
Were you working when you was in Durham?
I only studenting when I was there, so student working. I didn't do any other work when I was there.
So what does your father do? Were your parents do?
So my mum is a teacher, retired now, and then my dad was like he had lots of different jobs, but he died when I was younger.
Okay, sorry to
But
hear
he
that.
was very into like running and sport as well, so that probably accounts for some of what's in my genes.
Yeah, I will say that about my kids. They're all active.
Yeah.
They're all, even if they're in the house, they want to do something where they're kind of building up a sweat and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Red light, camera
The body
ahead.
and the mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, it certainly does. So you went to after uni.
Yes.
You've done your education in. What was it? You've done your physical education,
Yeah.
your psychological,
Yeah.
and then teacher training.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot of years, isn't
So
it?
it was, so then I did my undergrad in sport, and then I moved back home for a while. I worked in a school as a teaching assistant. Then I moved to Birmingham to do my teacher training. That was a year. So then I qualified to be a PE teacher. Then I worked in Birmingham for 2 years, and then I moved to Dubai.
Oh.
So then I lived in Dubai for 6 years.
So before we rush in, we've got some time. When you're doing your teacher training, how long was that, and what was that like? So now you're interacting with the
It was
children.
very stressful.
What age group? What's your face? Oh, very stressful. What age group were they?
Secondary age.
So that age.
The training to be a teacher and being a teacher is a very rewarding job, but it's the training takes it out of you.
How old were they then? You said secondary.
So that's 12 to 18.
Okay, that knife crime age. Sadly.
Potentially. Yeah.
So you was teaching in Birmingham?
Yes.
So you're inner city schools?
I wasn't actually. I was in a leafy suburban school in Sutton Coldfields.
Okay, so there's all complain about anxiety and things like that then, or mummy and daddy.
No, it wasn't really like that. I guess it was a very good school.
Okay.
And it had just been like recently rebuilt, so that was positive.
All right, that's good.
So that was a good experience there, yeah.
What was trying about it then? That's what I'm trying to get at.
You just get just training to be a teacher. You're constantly under, like, you're constantly being observed. Yeah, you're constantly being scrutinised. It's just really difficult.
How long did you last in the teaching field then?
So I did my training, then I taught for 2 years in Birmingham. Then I worked for 6 years in Dubai. Then I moved back here and did a couple more years teaching alongside training to be a psychotherapist.
Okay, so going back to Dubai then.
Yeah.
What was Dubai like, and who were you teaching?
So I was working in a international school.
What, expats?
Yeah, but there was like over 80 different nationalities in my school.
Sounds like London.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was very, yeah, it was really mixed. But a lot of the schools some of the schools out there, you get predominantly Western cultures in schools, like white British, but mine wasn't like that. So it always used to be very interesting going into the cafeteria at lunchtime, looking at everybody's different packed lunches.
Okay. Yeah. And was did you find any culture shocks for you? Because from where you're brought up, it looks like you're moving to more cosmopolitan.
Of course, like the Emirati culture is obviously very different to here, and of course, like the rules and regulations are different to here. But also Dubai, I suppose, in some ways is quite westernized as well. So I guess that's why it's quite attractive to people to move there as an expat gig, because it's got a good balance of both, I suppose.
A lot of young people move to Dubai.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, but even though they're quite religious, the rules are strict, the crimes are low. What do you think is it about Dubai that works and attracts young people?
I'm trying to think where I put my house key. What is it? I think it's the money is a big thing, because obviously it's tax free. I think the lifestyle is a big thing as well. I think the glitz and the glamour of it is attractive to younger people. I think obviously it's a hub an airport hub, so I think the travel opportunities from there are great as well, which is attractive to anybody regardless of age, I suppose. I guess quality of life in some ways, but I suppose it depends on what values you have.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you can go to a swanky hotel every weekend, and be beside the pool in the sunshine, nice drinks, everything's really lovely and sparkly and glitzy and glam, which is lovely. But then I suppose one of the reasons I came back was because of the weather and not being able to you couldn't walk out your front door and just go for a walk. I was far from, because it was too hot. It doesn't have the infrastructure for it there.
It's a desert though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not meant to though, it's the desert. But I hear you saying the European. I wonder if because obviously you got South Africans and Australians, and they didn't. I suppose the heat's different then.
In
Australia? Yeah, the heat's probably different heat to what.
Yeah, very dry heat there.
I remember going to Dubai one time. Well, I've been quite a few times. I used to work on the ships.
Oh right.
And I came out the bridge to have a photo taken. I was all in white linen. I love white linen because it dries easy.
Yeah.
You get hot and it allows the wind to brush through. And as I stepped outside, it was like I was in a shower. I was just wet, and this guy was fiddling around the camera trying to take the photo. So I know there's times, summertime, you just don't really do anything.
Unless it's up to 50 there. Yeah. But then now it'll be starting to get to a nice manageable temperature. Yeah.
And I was swimming in the swimming pool one time, and I just felt like a lobster.
Yeah.
You know when they're cooking the lobster slowly?
Yeah.
And there's the guy, because there's a port swimming pool, he had a hose and he was pumping water in constantly because the water level was going down so fast on the heat. And I'm thinking something's not right here.
Yeah.
But still. So did you you enjoyed your time in Dubai?
Yeah. I loved the travel opportunities. I loved the people that I met. I loved the place. I loved the school that I worked in. Yeah, I had a lot of positive experience.
So the school was an international school. Was it an English-based curriculum? Or?
Yeah, it was a British curriculum.
So it's probably everybody. I 80 countries, that's a lot.
Yeah, 80 different
That's nearly half of the world's countries on the planet.
Yeah.
In that respect. And they all spoke English? Or their versions of English?
Yeah, they did all speak English because obviously it was a British curriculum school, but I guess to differing levels. Yeah.
Did you find there was a tier system in who you are?
Yes.
In so
absolutely. Like the social class system there is like the equivalent of the social class system there is race, really.
Okay.
So there was a lot of, for example, some of the workers on like the construction sites were inevitably like of Indian origin or Pakistan, and that like they'd come over to seek work. Like the support staff in the school that I was in were mostly Filipino. And yeah.
Did they seem happy though there?
Yeah, I think well, I mean, it's difficult to say. I mean, the way that I would interact, like I would treat anybody the same regardless of what role they were working in or where anybody's from. But I don't think, well, like anywhere in the world, I don't think that was necessarily true for everyone. And I don't know if well, look at everything that happened with the World Cup in Oman and all the politics around that in Qatar with the human rights and all the issues there.
Okay. So your time in being a teacher, have you noticed that depending on the kind of group of people is the way different skills that you have to implement in teaching them and relating to them?
Sorry, say that again.
In your time in being a teacher, how have you developed, or maybe that's the word, how have you developed in the different methods of teaching people from different backgrounds? Because you've gone from extreme to extreme to extreme.
I guess you just adapt and mould with experience, I suppose. And yeah, I suppose I've taught different age groups as well. I don't think I could really put words to like how I've done it. I think using children as like we can learn a lot from them as well. So it's not just like a one-way street, really.
How do we learn from children in the class?
Well, because children are like free agents, aren't they? They're like blank slates without any, like they're quite free in some ways, aren't they? And I think and playful, and I think that can be useful reminders to adults sometimes to connect with that part of themselves.
Okay, interesting. What would be your advice to a young person, let's say 16, who wants to go down the route of what you've gone so far in teaching?
Look after yourself. Acts of self-care are integral. Fill your own cup before you try and help others as well. That's as important as trying to give everything to the role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would probably be. I think that's true of anything though as well, not just teaching.
So you spoke about the heat in Dubai. Did you manage to continue any sports, snorkeling, any water sports?
I ran when I was there, but
really?
Not very easily outside.
Not very easily.
I did do a marathon there.
Wait, so what, a full marathon?
Yeah.
So they must have done that at night.
No, it was early morning, and it was in
Like 4 in the morning kind of thing.
No, 7 in the morning, and it was in the winter.
And how was that? How was that journey?
But it was very rewarding. Like any marathon's rewarding, really. But yeah, it was cool to do. I think it had some ridiculous record about it being the flattest route or something. And so that was 4 years ago. And then I guess I've been training for 4 years, but I've just finished. So
congratulations!
Thank you. I got my results this week.
So what did you get? A first, a 2-1, or did it?
I got a first.
Well done. That means you put your heart into it. Was it blood, sweat, and tears?
Bloody was, yeah. Were you with your wife when she trained?
No.
Oh gosh, probably a good thing. The amount of relationships that didn't last on our course because of
people try to practice on their partner?
No, I think just the level of everything that you have to give to it.
You have to pay for you to talk to someone's problems. Yeah. Your problems. So when the missus said that to me last night, I went, what? I ain't paying for me to tell someone. That's not it. I'm all right. She said, no, you can't be a therapist if you're not talking to someone.
Yeah, what, like her supervisor?
Well, no. Well, as a therapist, every therapist must have a therapist.
So you don't have to have your own personal therapist, but you have to have a supervisor, which is kind of like a professional.
Yeah, that's the term she uses, supervisor,
Yeah.
And stuff.
But I guess most therapists would have their own therapist because they would advocate for that.
How did you find the course, and what made you want to do the course?
I think just my own experiences with mental health and just my own experiences of therapy, and I just guess how valuable and positive I'd found it. I suppose it just made me interested in what it would be like to be the other side, really.
So when you say your own experiences mental health, have you been did you see a therapist voluntarily before the course?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've never thought of ever doing that.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, well, why do
you need a therapist?
No, it's not that why. I can understand. So I have a theory, and you can tell me what you think on this as a professional. Yeah. Look at that. So that there's some people who they may have good friends and good family, but they find it hard to talk to people who know them.
Yeah.
And so those are probably the ideal people for therapies. There's other people who they may not even have a lot of friends and family, but the people around them they can talk to if they need to, because they see things on a logical scale. I've got a problem with this, what do you think? Well, I wouldn't do that. Oh, I'd do this. Oh yeah, never thought of that, thank you. And that's it. And they're good to go. Yeah. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is where my argument is that I don't think everybody needs overall therapy, but then I've been told that is therapy, talking to your friend.
Yeah.
Or talking to somebody.
I guess it's I don't think therapy doesn't have to be you don't have to go to a therapist to have deep emotional overwhelming chats. You could just go to a therapist to just it's I guess it's if you want to exercise, you can go for a really intense workout, or you could just go for a walk. Any form of kind of exercise is a form of self-care, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that going to therapy, it doesn't have to be a major, you're going for a reason or because something's happened to you, or it can just be a really healthy kind of check-in or offload onto somebody that's not close to you immediately, that is just a way of looking after yourself, I suppose. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, I get a lot of people talking to me in a taxi.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Especially when they're
I would
sitting
think that
behind.
with hairdressers as well.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. Especially, and that's probably why people don't want to. They're very loyal to their hairdresser.
Yeah.
There's a saying that goes: if men were loyal to their wives like they are to their barber, then they would have no problems in society.
It's interesting that you say though that people, especially if they're in the back, talk to you, because I think there is that thing about, I guess, like the idea behind you doing this, like people being in a car and not looking at each other, like it's easier for people to offload and talk, isn't it? Which I think, again, that can be kind of a barrier to some people going to therapy, like the thought of sitting in a room with somebody and like locking eyes with someone and having to like share your innermost thoughts. That understandably can feel overwhelming. But then there are, like, people do walking therapy.
Walking. See, I heard about that, and I thought I could do a gym therapy.
Yeah.
But then Mrs. says, nah, that's not going to work, because people are going to be coming around and like, can I do this, and interrupting the person. But then I said, well, you could go to like one of those 24-hour gyms 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
But think of this, I was going to do, if I was qualified, I could do a taxi therapist. So you just book me, you get in, sit in the back, and I just drive for an hour.
Yeah.
And then you just tell me everything.
Yeah.
And I go, okay.
Or like a one-off.
There's a confession booth.
Yeah.
Book the taxi confession. But I'm not sure if I want to hear everybody's confessions.
Yeah.
Some people have done some things and are like, no, you should not be. I don't know how you did that.
Yeah.
And you should not be telling anybody
you say that it's like a confession booth. I had a conversation with a friend the other day who was saying about how therapy is like almost like a modern day confession booth.
Yeah, like the Catholic.
Yeah, like back in the day, therapy wouldn't have been a thing, and I suppose people would seek God for that kind of, people would speak to God and offload to God, as they do now, of course. But that notion of going to a confession booth to offload, and it's kind of, it does mirror the concept of therapy now, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't disagree with that in the slightest. And stuff. So, how's your journey been on your course, your therapist course?
Like a roller coaster.
And can I ask, the reason you sought therapy at the start, before the course, was that something now you look back on and thought, I could have probably got by that without having to go, but you really needed someone to talk to?
Yeah. I also think with therapy, I don't think it, as I said, it's not a case of like having to go, like, if something is extreme or not. I think it can just be like I don't think you have to go to therapy if something is wrong with you. I think it's just a really healthy, like, it's a check-in, really. It's a check-in with your thoughts.
So it's an MOT on the brain.
Yeah. Well, I heard somebody on the radio the other day describe it as, it's like somebody coming to sort out your shed. Like, they're just moving around the tools that are already there, but like sprucing up the ones that maybe aren't working as well as they could be.
Maintenance.
Yeah. And then when they leave, the shed's looking in a bit more orderly shape, and the tools are working a bit better. So. And
I suppose some people have the powers to do it themselves, and other people need some assistance.
Yeah, I guess. And I suppose there's always something about alternative perspectives, aren't there? And I think also that, like, when you're in conversation with somebody, and sometimes even without a therapist's intervention, somebody can come to realizations on their own through just speaking, and then coming to, oh, hang on, yeah, I'm doing that, and oh, actually, I've just realised why, because I've been talking about it. Whereas in this world now, everything's so fast paced. We're having to get from A to B, like we've got our phones out, like we've got so many tabs open in our heads. It's you don't always get the opportunity to do that, do you? To really look and think, okay, what is actually going on?
One thing you've just made me realise, and I appreciate you for this, is because my argument is always, well, great leaders, Napoleon or Genghis Khan wasn't thinking about therapy, they were just doing what they do.
Yeah.
But then know that I'm wrong, and why I'm wrong is because everybody had counsellors. You had those, you had philosophers, but you had counsellors, those people around you who would counsel you. Who from young would teach you how to be a leader, and you would learn, and then as you got older and you took the reins, they would still say, well, if you do that, if you sack this city, then da.
It's like it's mentors, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah. It's someone just kind of trying to keep you on the path of the goal of life, whatever you choose, how you choose to live your life. I really never thought of that before.
It's like, it's just this verbal check-in, I suppose.
But then I announced on my social media thing that I was doing this counselling course, and the negative comments that came with, it's a load of rubbish, it's a farce, they're just trying to take your money, they tell you what
is in counselling, like talking therapy? Yeah.
Oh,
well, so you're doing that as well?
No, I did a course, I did an introduction course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I kind of just went, so I got in a disagreement with the teacher. She's asking me about this feelings thing, and I'm saying, listen, love, I don't bother with feelings, it's logic. Tell me something logical, and if it makes sense, I'm going to run with it. So she kept on coming out with it, and I said, listen, she said, you asked me the same question 3 times now. I've given you my answer, but clearly the answer's not good enough for you, so you tell me what you want me to say, and I'll say it, and then we can move on. She didn't take it too well, but I was just telling her thing. But then at the same time, when she wrote my report, I think she liked the fact that I will just challenge and put it there.
Where did you do that course?
It was online. So I wasn't really interested in going out, stopping my day to do like on a major scale, finding parking. But it's called Minister Module. Yeah, and we were talking about last night about me doing the next stage.
Yeah.
And Mrs. said, well, Simon, you know that's like 3,500, then you've got to pay for your therapy. Yeah.
Was it not the Minster Centre?
Yeah, I think that's it, yeah.
Was it the in...
I don't know where it is. Minster.
Yeah,
yeah, do you know it? Well, it's not where you did your fee.
The Minster, but I don't know if that would have been online.
Yeah, my one, the introduction's online. You can do it in person. They've got their fast track.
Yeah.
They've got fast track, and they've got the normal.
So that is the Minster Centre.
Yeah.
Who was your teacher then?
It's an Asian lady. I can't remember her name. I got told off for not remembering her name on the 4th day. So, but I'm never good with names.
Oh yeah, was it like a 5-day?
Yeah, 5-day introduction.
Yeah, I did that with them, the Minster Centre.
It was interesting though. It was interesting because it's hard not to solve a problem. You know when they do that, what was it, helpy thing, and then if you're telling me something, I'm just meant to repeat back to you what you said, and then you're meant to realise, oh, you're hearing what you actually said, and then you think, actually I don't like the sound of that, I need to change my mind on that, and allow that person to come to their conclusion of their solution. But obviously if you tell me a problem now, I'll say, listen, that's not, I'm going to give my point of view, and I said that's what I do, and then and that doesn't really help you. But it's hard. I guess. It's hard not to have an opinion. No way. So what's the hardest thing for you in the course? And I've got to ask my questions right, as the missus would tell me off. You had a student, you could have questioned her.
Hardest thing about the course.
Or the thing that you wish that you know now that you wish you knew at the start?
The level. Oh, I don't even think I can put words to it. You just have to go to like every part of yourself in all of the ways, like personally, professionally, academically. Like it just completely, like, you just go to your core and it just like completely, it's exposing, it's like, it's painful, it's great, it's amazing, it's like, it's horrible, it's frustrating, it's wonderful. It's just like, it's like this all the time. But
roller coaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think most people would agree that like you're a changed person for it. And really, like it's an investment in yourself, but also in a profession, which, like, what a privilege to be in that position where you do a good job, where you're constantly having to like look at yourself and how you relate to other people.
Self-reflection.
Yeah, all the time. And also, what a privilege to be able to like sit in a room with somebody and for them to be sharing their like innermost thoughts with you. Like that's. I heard as well somebody say the other day that actually like psychotherapy holds the key to social change, because like psychotherapists are on the ground hearing the struggles that people face, like financially, socially, and actually we're hearing, also like psychotherapists are hearing like the breadth of experiences and from people and narratives from people that could actually be really influential in creating change, because you're hearing it firsthand.
Yeah, I suppose, because also politicians would have probably therapists. Maybe not all. I can't see Boris having one, but but you probably get other ones who have a bit of a conscience.
Yeah.
There's probably not many, but
I'm sure.
Because all those people have, So, what does the future hold for you? Now you've graduated.
Well, hopefully I'm going to get onto this train.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at options at the moment for work, for potential work.
Are you going to specialise with children, adults? How does it work?
Adults, I think.
Was there any point in the course where you thought, I can't do this anymore?
No, I always knew that I wanted to see it through, and I'm really pleased that I did. But yeah, it definitely takes it out of you. But again, like I said with teaching, I think one of the important things, especially like being in helping roles, is making sure that you top your own cup up before you try and be there for anybody else, so that it was a worthwhile learning.
See, when you talk about top your own cup up, it's interesting because I as a period of time, me as a podcaster, I was hearing some real deep problems. And a lot of the time, it was, well, sometimes it was at night. If you do, let's say, Sunday morning, you've got all the underworld going home. So you've got the working girls, that's prostitutes for those people overseas who don't know what I mean, so I have to explain. Some people go, working girls, there's confusion. You've got the dealers, then you've got the bankers and people who've been in parties or whatever, you've got all kind of things, but then people just are offload, whether they're under their influence, and this is not necessarily interviews they're doing, they're just offloaded. And I found some stories were so like what, that I had to call somebody to offload that story onto them to share the pressure, because I mentally felt like it was a pressure cooker.
But you absorb it.
And I was like, this is too much. And I remember I've done over 13,000 journeys. So I've met a lot of different people. I've got over 1,000 episodes. And I have this psychotherapist. He's British, but he lives in New York. He says he has 3 clients a week, and he lives off that. He charges a lot of money for them. And he was saying to me how, well, I'm losing track here. He was, sorry, my mind's gone blank. It happens at times. It's very embarrassing. He was saying to me how you can't overload yourself with other people's stories. And he said when he started, he wanted to get all the money back he'd spent. So he was like trying to fill up your calendar. But now he realised that's not the way to go. Yeah. And have you found that you have to regulate yourself in how many interviews or not interviews, sessions?
No, it's just like, I think it's just knowing your limits, like how many people do you feel that you're able to see a week, for example, or a day, and that's for yourself, but also so you can be there for them. Like, you could go into somebody if you're not able to be available for them. But I think it's a constant, it's a constant need to kind of reflect on how you are, and how you're feeling. Like, you have to be conscious of what's going on for you, so you can determine, okay, well, actually maybe I need to reduce the amount of people that I'm seeing, or what do I need to be doing in and around these sessions to help. But that's where supervision comes in as well, as being really useful too.
A bit of honesty here, and we'll take a 2 question. Have you ever made a mistake where you think, well, that was close, or I'm not doing that again?
I don't think it's binary. I don't think there's a right or wrong, really, in therapy, unless I suppose it's an ethical thing, but then maybe they're not straightforward as well. And also, therapists are human too, humans with all maybe error of judgments, but I don't know if right or wrong is the way that I would necessarily term it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to a younger person who wants to go down the route that you've gone down?
What do you mean?
As in,
psychotherapy?
to psychotherapy.
To a younger person?
Yeah, so a 16-year-old, I don't know, a sister, your younger sister, or some girl from school wants to become a psychotherapist. What would be your advice?
Self-care, I think. Always self-care, checking in on yourself, how you are, being reflective.
Do they need more life experience first, would you say?
Well, the 16-year-old obviously wouldn't be able to be a therapist.
By the time she's finished, she'll be 20. And would you say that's enough life experience to be a therapist?
But a 16-year-old wouldn't be able to be a therapist.
No, by the time she finished studying, she'd be 20 or 21.
But she wouldn't be able to start at 16.
Yeah, but I mean education-wise.
Okay, what? But she wouldn't be able to start a training at 16.
Oh, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. See, that's why we asked.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, you're further down the road.
I guess there must be undergrad courses for, and I don't think it's binary. I don't think there were people on my course that were younger, in their 20s. I don't think it's. Like, who are we to say what life experience? Like, somebody could have experienced
loads of stuff.
Yeah, in 20 years on the earth.
Yeah, that's true.
And everybody, like, who are we to say, like, what experiences are better or worse?
Yeah, so I come from children's homes, and obviously those children usually experience a lot of life is on a fast track.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Well, we're coming to the end of the journey now.
Are we?
Yeah, we're just passing Houston, and then after that it's going to be a free run. What you sound like you're disappointed? Are we? I don't want to. I'm getting comfortable on camera now. I just warmed up. Yeah.
Good.
Look, what's going to tell you? 14 minutes. I'm nearly there. We're 2 minutes over time, so it's 11:11.
Okay.
See, I'm the Uber driver with a flair.
Excuse me, gosh.
What course would you recommend people do to become a psychotherapist? That's the last question.
Again, that's not clear cut either, because there's so many routes into it. I think you've got to choose one that suits the way that you like to work. You've got to choose one that like matches your situation financially, like your responsibilities outside of wanting to study. I don't think it's any. I think it's very individual.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, we thank you for that. And one last little question is, if the world is standing in front of you, 7.8 billion people, no pressure, what would be your words of wisdom to them based on your life experience so far?
Never book a train ticket and expect it to be on time and for it not to be cancelled. And gosh,
if you haven't got anything, it's okay.
I don't know. Oh gosh, one opportunity. Maybe just do something every day that just fills your own cup even a little bit, or just take a moment every day to just stop and think about what it is to be alive.
So do something every day to fill that cup.
Yeah.
That will be your slogan for your new consultancy
but
company.
Also to like just think like what a privilege it is to be alive. I think. So I think sometimes we just get on the treadmill of life, don't we? We don't actually realise that we're here living.
Well, thanks a lot for that, and we wish you well.
Pleasure.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.